everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought it would be really fun to do a different video today and share 3 easy meals that you can prepare for your family. The first meal I have today is called Hobo Sax, and this is actually one of my family's favorite. I first saw this recipe on TV from Julie Chrisley. She had a little segment called Cooking with Julie, and she shared recipes that she does with her family, and all of them are great. I've tried most of them, but this one in particular is one that is so simple and so easy and is definitely a favorite with us. So I want to show you that as well. Essentially, it's a hamburger steak in an aluminum foil little basket with your vegetables, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. But I want to walk you through the recipe. It's very simple, and I hope that it's something that you will try and love as well. So to start out, I have ground turkey, and I've done 1 pound of thawed ground turkey. Next, I'm gonna add 1 egg. You're gonna pour the egg right over the meat. After you do that, you're gonna take crackers, and we use like Ritz Crackers. She says like 6 to 8, but honestly, we just kind of do a handful, and you're gonna crumble the crackers right over your meat. I will warn you, this is a really good recipe. It's really easy, but it can get really messy. So next you add the Worcestershire sauce. We do 1 tablespoon of the Worcestershire sauce. And then, like I said, I add the garlic. So I start out with the minced garlic first. I really don't measure my garlic. I just usually put a lot in it because we like garlic. Let me show you what that looks like. So it's kind of hard to see, but you got your meat, your egg, your crackers, your Worcestershire sauce, and garlic. And then, of course, at any time you want to put any other seasonings in the meat, you can as well. But first, we're going to go ahead and mix this up. She actually uses her hands when she mixes up. You can do that. Like I said, it gets really messy, so I tend to use a spoon as much as I can, and then I use my hand to kind of patty out the burgers. Now, while I'm making the burger patties, I have my oven preheating to 450 degrees. And then once I get that done, I like to set that aside before I start working with any of the meat. And then the next thing I do is I cut up my vegetables. So in ours, we put potatoes, carrots, and onions. You can put any vegetables in it that you would like, really. There's no rhyme or reason. Those are just things that we really like in our family. So I'll cut up the potatoes and all the vegetables kind of in bite-sized portions. If you know that you're gonna do this meal, this is something that you could do beforehand. You could cut up your vegetables the night before and put them in a bag and keep them in the fridge. That way they're ready. But I really like this recipe because it's one that I can pretty much have the whole meal in the sack. And once I have it cooking, or while it's cooking, I can clean my kitchen. Sometimes I will do extra vegetables, and I'll make a special sack with just vegetables. So after the potatoes, we do carrots. And usually I will buy the large carrots, but everything is out of stock and hard to find right now. So I just got baby carrots today, which will probably be easier to cook anyways. But you just cut up as many carrots as you want. And then the last vegetable that we add is onions. Now that we have our vegetables cut up and the meat is prepared, it's time to make the actual sacks. So first what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the patties. I'll patty them out and put them on my aluminum foil. And I've just torn off just a section of aluminum foil. You want it to be big enough so that you can actually put everything in it and wrap it up and create a sack. And also I spray my aluminum foil just to keep it from sticking because we've noticed that it does tend to stick still. Depending on how much meat that you make, this is 1 pound, which can easily do 4, maybe 5 patties if I do a smaller one for the youngest. But depending on the size of your family, you might do 1 to 2 pounds of meat. Once you have your patty made, you're gonna put the vegetables on top. Again, just whatever vegetables each person wants. I'm gonna do some carrots, then I'll sprinkle on some potatoes, and then I'll do some onions on top. Then I'm gonna add my seasonings. Again, I like garlic, so I'm gonna do some garlic salt, a little bit of onion powder, and parsley. And then what makes it the absolute best is the cheese. So I sprinkle cheese on top of it all. That's what your sack will look like. And again, it's gonna fall over, but it doesn't matter, you're about to wrap it up anyways. When I wrap my sack, I start long ways, and then I close the ends. So each sack looks like this. And then what you do is you put it in your pan or on your pan. You just line them like this, and then we will put it in the oven. Now that I have all my sacks prepared, I'm ready to put them in the oven. Again, we have the oven on 450, and we're gonna bake it for 45 minutes or until the meat is done and the vegetables are tender. So the sacks are finally done, and I was gonna show you what it looks like. It is gonna be so good. The potatoes are tender and the meat is all done, and it's got cheese on it, and so now we get to enjoy. I hope y'all try this one out because like I said, it is so simple and it's so good, and I promise your family will love this one. The second meal that I want to show y'all is something that I like to call chicken pizza. Now, growing up, my mom called it chicken parmesan, but to me, it just makes more sense to call it chicken pizza because it's literally chicken with sauce on top and cheese, and it's so easy. So first we have chicken tenderloins that are thawed in your baking dish. I've also sprayed it so that they don't stick. We're gonna bake this at 350 degrees for about 20 to 30 minutes. Ideally, you wanna make sure, because it's chicken, that there's no pink on the inside and that it reaches an internal temperature of about 165 degrees. Also, I wanna show you 2 simple sides that my family really loves that I think pair really good with this meal. First is asparagus. You can cook asparagus in so many different ways, but one way that we really like to dress the asparagus up is by adding Parmesan, like the sprinkled cheese Parmesan, as well as shredded cheese Parmesan, and of course, garlic. The last side that I want to show you is something that I found at Walmart a long time ago, and it's super easy and good, these garlic knots. If you have never had these garlic knots, you are missing out. They are so good and so easy. You literally bake it in the oven like this. Put it on a pan and you bake it 5 minutes each side and it's done. Because this doesn't take as long to cook, I'm gonna put it in last. But I'm gonna go ahead and first show you how we do the asparagus and put it in. And then while that's cooking, I'll also put the chicken in to bake. And then when it comes out, I'll show you how we dress the chicken. My asparagus, I have rinsed it, washed it, cut the ends off of it, and I've put it on my pan. I have drizzled olive oil over the top, and then next I'm gonna take my grated Parmesan cheese, and you can do as much or as little as you want, but I'm just gonna sprinkle it all over the asparagus. And then I'm gonna take some garlic salt and go back over the asparagus. And then I'm gonna take my shredded Parmesan cheese and kind of just layer it over the top as well. And last, I'm gonna go back over the asparagus with some olive oil. I'm gonna stick this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes or until the asparagus is tender. And for our chicken pizza, I'm gonna go ahead and bake the chicken first. You wanna bake it before you put any sauce and cheese on it. So I have my oven prepared for 350 as well. Thankfully, I have double ovens. If you ever build a house, I highly suggest that. It has been a lifesaver in so many instances, but I'm gonna pop this in my bottom oven, like I said, about 20 to 30 minutes or until the meat is done, and then we'll show you what I do after that. This is what the asparagus looks like when it is done, and the chicken is still baking, but I went ahead and pulled out my asparagus. It smells so good, and my kids will eat these like French fries. We absolutely love asparagus. Just took the chicken out of the oven, and it's done, and it is ready now for the next step. So I'm using marinara pasta sauce. You can use really any pasta sauce that you would like. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna pour this over your chicken, and I like a lot of sauce because you can always kind of dip your bread in the sauce or the chicken, but you're just gonna pour it all the way over your chicken. Okay, so now that the chicken is covered with the sauce, I'm gonna sprinkle my cheese over it. I have a mixture of mozzarella cheese and some Colby Jack cheese, and then also I'm gonna use my Parmesan cheese. Again, you could do as little or as much cheese as you want. You could do any type of cheese you want too. Now that I have the sauce and the cheese that is over the chicken and it's covered, I'm gonna pop it back in the oven about 5 to 10 minutes. Just depending on how brown you want your cheese. I like mine to get just a little bit crispy, so I kind of do closer to 10. We're gonna pop it back in, and then when it's done, I will show y'all. The chicken is finally done, and it looks good and it smells so good. I'm gonna put one on a plate and show you what the meal actually looks like. And this is what the final meal looks like. We've got our asparagus, our chicken pizza, and the garlic knot. This is seriously an easy meal, and it tastes so good. And we're about to go eat. I hope y'all try it out. The last meal that I want to share with y'all is something that you have probably cooked several times, but I want to show you my variation and a different pasta that we use. I talked about this before, and I think it was in my grocery haul part of a video I did. But we love spaghetti, but we love the veggie spaghetti. And this brand, Barilla, I have searched everywhere. I don't know why everything is out, but I cannot find just the plain spaghetti noodles in the veggie flavor. So we're using the rotini today, but essentially it's gonna taste the same. The main thing about this is the taste. The veggie pasta tastes so good, and when you pair it with the pasta sauce, in my opinion, it tastes better than just regular spaghetti. But this is a meatless meal, so if you are vegetarian, this is something that you will enjoy. So I want to show you this simple meal as well. Now, other than the spaghetti, rotini, we're going to have sides of potatoes, tomatoes, and onions, and I want to show you how I bake those. Essentially, I just cut my vegetables in small pieces, and I line them on my baking tray, and I drizzle olive oil over the top, and then of course I add garlic, parsley, and onion powder. I bake this in the oven at 350 for about 20 minutes or until the vegetables are tender. This is a very fast meal, so that's why I start with my vegetables first. That way they can be baking while the spaghetti's going. Because once you get your spaghetti done and you add the pasta, essentially the meal is ready because we're not doing any meat. So I have my oven preheated, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in. That way it can be cooking. One thing that I really like to cook with my spaghetti is spinach, and my kids are not really big on it, so I usually just do enough for me, and then I do a separate side for them, just a canned vegetable, something easy that I know that they will eat and they will like. But when I do my spinach, I rinse it and then I put it in my pan and I add olive oil and more garlic on top of it. But what I do is I cook my spinach over about medium and just let it wilt down. But I love, love, love putting my spinach on top of my spaghetti, so when the meal's all finished, I will show you how it looks on the plate. Now, spaghetti is very simple. First, you're gonna boil your water. Once your water is boiling, you can add your pasta to that and let it cook based off the instructions on the box. And then, of course, once that's done, you drain your water and add your sauce. So, I'm not gonna bore you with all that, but when it's done, I'll show you how the meal comes together. I just wilt my spinach a little bit. I don't cook it down a ton. I just don't like it real stringy or anything like that. But this is, when it looks about like this, that's when I stop cooking it, and I just kind of set it to the side until my spaghetti is ready. Once the pasta is done, I drain it and then I add the sauce. I buy a 24-ounce container and I make it last at least 2 meals. If I can go further than that, then I like to. So I usually don't add a ton of sauce. I'm gonna just pour it over the pasta and mix it in. This is the final meal. So I use my, what would be spaghetti, but my rotini pasta with the pasta sauce, and then I pair it with the spinach on top. And then I take those tomatoes and put it on top with the onions as well. And then that's the potatoes. Again, for my kids, I just do like a canned vegetable on the side because they're not crazy about the spinach. But sometimes I can hide it in the spaghetti. But this is it. It's so simple, it's so easy, and it is literally so good. So definitely try this one out. Well, I hope you'll enjoy those 3 meals. If you tried them out, please let me know in the comments, and I will post the recipes to each meal in the description box as well. I thought this video would just be fun and different and something that I wanted to share. I know how it is when you're busy and you're trying to get dinner together and come up with new ideas. So I wanted to share something that we do and things that work for us that are really good and we enjoy. So I hope y'all like this. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any more video requests, please let me know. Until next time, bye guys.